Hi, this is the second part of my inequalities. It's 2x to the third minus 3x squared minus 9x. Now, back in 5.1, this is where this was talked about, polynomial functions. And so if you begin with the function 2x to the third minus 3x squared minus 9x, we were supposed to be able to graph this. Now, remember, if it was a cube, the end behavior of this was left arm down, right arm up. The power function that resembles is y equals 2x cubed. So that's why it looks like this. And in order to graph this, the first thing we were doing was finding the x-intercepts. So we took in there, we factored x out, we end up with this quadratic, which factors again. And so the x-intercept that turned out from this one would be x equals 0, x equals negative 3/2, subtract 3 and divide by 2, and then x equals positive 3. And they all cross, the graph crosses at each one of these points because every one of the degrees are odd. So they cross every one. And since left arm goes down and there's no bouncing or touching, left arm goes down like this one does. It comes up to this x-intercept, crosses over, has a little peak, comes back down to your next x-intercept and crosses there as well. And then you have a valley, and then hits at 3, 0, crosses and goes up. So in this case, it has 2 turning points. So degree 3, you can have up to 2 turning points. Remember that. So now these, when we did 5.1, and I told you guys that you don't have to worry about too much how high the peak goes or how low the valley goes. We'll worry about that later if you ever take calculus. But right now, the peaks and the valleys, don't be so concerned about that. But that's what the graph kind of looks like. Now, this is not what we're really discussing in 5.4. 5.4 are polynomial inequalities. But this is going to help me get the idea of what's going on. So I'm translating the polynomial inequality to just a less than is equal to 0. Less than 0, not equal to, just less than 0. So in this case, I want to know when the function is less than the x-axis, or it's below the x-axis. So in essence, I am looking for this piece because it's less than 0 there, and it's less than 0 here. So just by looking at the graph, I know what the answer should be. So it's less than 0 on the left side of negative 3/2, so it's negative infinity to negative 3/2 union, and between 0 and 3. It's also below. And notice on this problem there are no brackets because it's exclusive. There's no less than or equal to. So if it was less than or equal to these three, this negative 3/2 and this 0 and this 3 would all have brackets on them. So this is what the solution to this should be. But like I said, well, on the first part of the series, we really don't want to have to draw the whole graph when we encounter problems from 5.4. 5.4 problems, you really want to do a little as least work as possible. So what you do is just draw the x-axis and not the y-axis. So the first thing on the agenda is to factor, just like you factor this one. So it ends up factoring to be x times 2x plus 3 times x minus 3 less than 0. So these, like I said, these sections are really tied together. Okay, so you find the x-intercept, so it's going to be at negative 3/2, 0, and 3. Okay, the biggest thing here is you got to make sure when you put these x-intercepts on there, that you put them in numerical order, not the order that you find them in your factors. So a lot of people will put 0 here, negative 3/2, and 3, and this is not a number line if you do it that way. So you got to put them in lowest to highest order. And remember that these are all odd degrees that they do cross. Okay, so this is going from 2 dimensions to 1 dimension. So I'm not really so concerned about what the final graph looks like. It's one over it's above or below. And that's when the end behavior again is going to help me. So x cubed, 2x cubed, so left arm goes down, right arm goes up. So right off the bat, I know this needs to be down here, and this needs to be up here. And since they cross, it'd be up here and back down here. Okay? And again, I'm looking for the less than 0, so I'm looking for the below part. So below part here, above, and above. These are not going to be my answers then. It's going to be this interval and this interval. So just like what we have up here, negative infinity to negative 3/2, union 3 to infinity. So when you're doing these problems in 5.4, you're not going to show all of this work to do these problems. You're just going to have this part right here. And the number line is just kind of a tool to help you along the way. So you have the below part and the above part, and this is, see, you can make a whole different problem out of this one if you make this greater than 0. In that case, the answer would be negative 3 halves 0 and 3 to infinity, because you'd be looking for the above portions at that point. So, but again, you're not looking for the whole graph. You're just looking for the above or the below part, whichever they're asking you for. So, quite simple. So, but again, 5.1, this one's come out of 5.4. This is why I say in class, you're going to be hurting on the test if you don't know the 4.5, 5.4, and the 5.2 and the 5.3, because they're so tied together. Because if you miss one idea, you're probably going to miss the other one as well. So it's like double your money. So anyway, that's it.